Hi, my name is Robin Dreek. I'm a United States Naval Academy graduate, former Marine Corps officer, FBI agent, and former head of a behavioral analysis program for federal government. 3 ways to build connection with people is by asking questions, active listening, and decoding nonverbal behavior. It's really pretty simple because when you ask questions, the other person's brain's automatically engaging. It's the best thing you do, again, when you're asking questions, again, non-judgmentally or in a challenging way, but from a seeking to understand way, you're demonstrating their value, you're demonstrating an affiliation, and their brain is really rich and rewarded for it. You ever hear the expression, hey, you want to plant seeds for someone to think about tomorrow? You don't do that by telling someone what to do or telling them your thoughts and opinions. You do that by asking them questions because their brain will engage those things and they can't stop. So that's the first one. Active listening, that is really simple for me because by just demonstrating that you're listening by following up on the statements and the information they're giving you during an encounter. Get rid of the things that you think you had to say in any kind of script and pay attention to what they're saying and follow up with even deeper questions about understanding who they are and their thoughts and opinions. And finally is the nonverbals. And what we're looking for in nonverbal behavior to demonstrate that we actually do have affiliation and liking going on is we're looking for the smiling, maybe a little head tilt, exposing a carotid artery, trusting the world not to rip out my jugular, palms up ventral displays, eyebrow elevation. All these things are saying and demonstrating we have liking, we have affiliation, as opposed to the eyebrow compression, lip compression. This is saying you're not doing something right and you need to adjust what you're doing in order to make that connection.
Often referred to as the IC, America's intelligence community is essential to America's security at home and abroad. By its nature, the work of the IC is secretive, but that doesn't mean we know nothing about it. The U.S. intelligence community is a group of 16 separate U.S. government agencies that work together and independently to support America's foreign policy and national security. All are overseen by the Director of National Intelligence, or the ODNI. The Director of National Intelligence, a position created in 2014, reports directly to lawmakers and the President of the United States to inform policy and defense operations. There are standalone national intelligence agencies, agencies that work under the umbrella of the Department of Defense, and agencies that serve within federal departments. The only wholly independent intelligence agency in the U.S. government is also its most famous, the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA is responsible primarily for human intelligence collection, or HUMINT, both in the U.S. and abroad. But plainly, their business is recruiting spies and stealing secrets. There are also intelligence agencies that are part of the Department of Defense. Each branch of the military has their own intel agency within their service. These agencies gather intelligence in support of military operations for each of their branches. Some intelligence agencies are not part of just one military branch, but support the DoD as a whole. Lastly, there are intelligence agencies that inform and operate as part of larger federal agencies and departments. Together, these 16 organizations work both together and separately, at home and abroad, to inform policymakers, bolster our military, and protect the nation and its people.
Why should we pay more attention to you than to the other 159,999 things I got stacked over here? And so what's the hook? Second language, life experience, success in whatever it is you're doing, foreign travel, living in a foreign country, mastering a foreign language, showing a comfort level, living in a foreign culture, all those kinds of things kind of make you percolate to the top. We go to college fairs. We go to Arab American Week up in Dearborn, Michigan, have a big tent up there where we talk to Americans of Arab descent. We recruit just like any other enterprise. In addition, we've got a lot of people who self-identify, who say that they want to be part of the Central Intelligence Agency. My last full year as director, which would have been 2008, we had 160,000 Americans make genuine applications to CIA. And I'm not talking about clicking on the website. I mean going through all that very intrusive paperwork to make themselves eligible for employment with us.
It's one of the most coveted jobs in law enforcement. But how do you become an FBI agent? According to one former FBI agent who now teaches at the college level,
the first thing I say, in all seriousness, is to stay out of trouble, number one. Because there are automatic disqualifiers. Certain drug use, certain kind of crime, non-payment of taxes. Those are the basic disqualifiers, and they're automatic. Assuming you kind of stayed out of trouble, you can go into the Bureau in a variety of ways. The quickest way to become an FBI agent is to have a specialty, an expertise, a skill that they need post-haste, like a language that they need right away, whether it's Sicilian, Farsi, Arabic. That's the kind of skill that can get you into the Bureau faster, perhaps, than any other skill, but is by no means an exclusive route to become an FBI agent.
Shapiro says you shouldn't rush into a career at the Bureau.
The best strategy is to sort of develop your own life, your own brand, your own experience, your own niche, and then apply after that. Like if you want to be a special agent, well, go out after college and work a couple of years doing whatever you will, as a public accountant, as a lawyer, as a journalist, and then apply if you're still interested. The FBI prefers to have people sort of the special agent role in their second career because they're more mature. They're going to stay there for the 20 years. And that's important to develop that expertise, to develop the relationships among other agents.
Why is all that prior experience important? Former FBI agent Tim Clemente has a story.
I had a guy that was on my squad that grew up in Israel. His first language was Hebrew, lived in Argentina, spoke Portuguese, Spanish, also studied Greek, ancient Greek and ancient Latin languages because he was an archaeologist. He was fluent in 9 languages, but he could decipher any language on the planet based on that experience. Now, what does that do for the FBI? Well, when he came to the FBI, he became an incredible expert on, you could look at a picture of something that a terrorist took anywhere in the world, and he could identify what period architecture was in the background, the type of sand and dirt, where it might be. He was incredible on crime scenes, not to mention the language skill that was vast.
That means one thing a prospective agent must do is hit the books.
If you study something well and study it deeply, you also learn other skills, research, writing, communication, and those skills are important as an FBI agent. Study hard, learn some things, but also be sociable. Sociability counts. The FBI agent's best friend is a tipster. The FBI agent's best asset is being able to get people to talk to him or her. So don't ignore this social aspect of living. It's very important.
The FBI tests its applicants in a variety of ways.
There are written tests, physical tests for fitness. There are basic weapons tests for firearms. And there's the background test. And also there are interviews, right, where a group of FBI agents will sit down and talk with you and say, well, tell me about yourself. Why do you want to become an FBI agent?
Of course, you don't have to be an agent to work for the FBI.
But there are also most other positions in the Bureau are not special agent positions, like intelligence analysts, forensic accountants, computer scientists, language experts. So there's a whole lot of other ways to work in the Bureau. The FBI recruits from so many different backgrounds, so many different ages and so forth, from photography and journalism to special agents, lab technicians, and honestly, just about anybody can find a role for him or herself.
The NSA, or National Security Agency, is a high-tech organization looking for outstanding tech talent. While the agency employs everything from security guards to cafeteria workers, the majority of positions require a college degree and computer expertise. The one common denominator for every employee working in the building? A security clearance. If you have a security clearance, highlight it when you apply for a position. It can save months in the hiring process. Don't share your application plans with your social network. The NSA values discretion, and tweeting about your interview just might cost you a job with the agency. The NSA holds recruitment events across the nation. Attending will help you get your foot in the door and provide more information about current openings. Consider an internship. They're not just for college students. Competitive 3-year programs train professionals of all levels and can launch a lifelong career within the agency. Applying to work in the world of secrets, spies, and cryptology isn't for everyone. But for the right engineers, scientists, and cyber professionals, it can be the start of an amazing career in one of the government's most interesting and secretive agencies.
Authorities believing at this point the suspected gunman acted alone and published a manifesto.
I just want to know that she's not in that building and that nobody's taking care of her.
It's horrible.
We have a problem here, but my gosh, the solution is us.
Santa Fe, Sutherland Springs, El Paso, Texas. These things are going to continue to happen if we don't take action. Tragedy met our community here with a senseless act of racial violence here, where 22 people were gunned down and over 20 people were wounded. So I think as someone who represents the community that was attacked, I will be vocal in making my community's voice heard.
Select Committee on Mass Violence Prevention and Community Safety will come to order. The clerk will call the roll.
Darby.
Here.
Navarez. Blanco. Here. Capriglione.
Here.
Guerin.
Here. My commitment to you is that we will listen, we will work, and we will engage in a serious conversation. I want to thank Governor Abbott for his quick and comprehensive response and his executive orders to address some of our system's shortcomings. We have in place a working model that is good, but we know that we need to both expand and improve upon those efforts.
Governor Greg Abbott issued 8 executive orders to move from reaction to prevention, and he's directed that the Department of Public Safety take specific actions.
The governor has suggested increasing the presence of suspicious activity reporting.
You'll often hear him say, if you see something, say something. I think that's one component of this.
Every person has got to be aware of their surroundings and be able to and willing to report suspicious activity when they see it.
Fusion
Fusion Center is kind of a consortium of different entities within the public safety sector. So we have police resources, fire resources, state and federal resources that all come together to share information and deal with issues that happen within our particular community, within our particular area of responsibility.
Originally, Fusion Centers kind of started off in the country as a intel branch for the police departments in order to share information. I think in recent years they've really grown to understand the all hazards approach to adding other agencies outside of that infrastructure.
So ultimately the problem that we've had year after year is how do you keep track of foot-based personnel during a large-scale event? We had a problem several years ago during one of our Fiesta parades. We had a crowd of people that were gathering around somebody who had been overcome by the heat. So they were unconscious on the ground. Our police officers that were near the scene thought something else was happening, so they rushed to the scene, pushed some people out of the way, and kind of made a fuss when it was actually just a medical event. So they rushed in thinking it was something else like a fight, and it actually caused more problems than it solved. So what we were trying to overcome was getting that situational awareness to those people in the field.
That's what the technology provides. It allows you to filter out what you don't need so that picture isn't as noisy. And everybody has a different focus. Fire's focus is more than patient care. Police focus is security. Federal agencies are looking at the investigation and the follow-up. Yet we're all looking at the same picture just through a different set of eyes. This software, this technology allows us to do that and still be on the same common operating picture.